Good morning, everyone. Good morning. It's Friday, April 17th, 2026. New day, fresh start. Welcome to the Pitbull Traders Morning Game Plan. I'm your host, Manny. The purpose of this show is simple: live futures trading, real-time technical analysis, and actionable setups, all with the focus on mindset and disciplined execution. Every morning, we come in with one goal: to build out the structure before the open, so we're operating in alignment with the dominant forces, not guessing, not kick chasing. All right, guys, so let's map it out. I've had to reset the overnight high. I've had to push it higher just about. I think this is like the sixth time I've had to move it higher. Just ripper on the news that I think there's some a Truth Social post out, and there's some sort of a agreement between the U.S. and Iran. Let's see. Trump on Truth Social just posted Iran has just announced that the Strait of Hormuz is fully open and ready for full passage. All right. So game on to the upside. So that kind of puts us in a precarious situation here in terms of just analyzing this thing because it's we're ripping, but I'm going to try to do the best I can, give you some context, give you some ideas as we head into the open, the NYSE open. Remember, also keep in mind that today is OPEX, right? So we tend to see kind of OPEX has a signature of its own, a characteristic of its own. Typically, what you'll see is good movement early on in the day, which can taper off into a pin type of environment later on in the afternoon. My personal trading, I'm trying to be done on the earlier side, and history has taught me to not press on OPEX day. Instead, try to stay focused on taking plan setups in the morning. And it's because OPEX is typically on a Friday, right? I want to try to make sure that when I'm in profit, if I'm in profit for the week, that I preserve that and I go into the weekend with a strong mindset. So, all right, with that being said, let's just map out today and see what we have. All right, so obviously, we're opening up, gapping up, 69, almost 70 points now. And we can see that it's blue sky territory, right? We're just blazing. I mean, it's just straight up, really strong, impulsive move off the low. It's hard to imagine, but just 3 weeks ago, we were trading like 63, 6,400. And here we are trading 71, 71.50 just about, and pushing higher. Everything looks bullish. I guess everything is right with the world. So going into today, where does that put us? Well, let me move up the overnight high again. I don't know how many times I'm going to have to keep resetting this, but whatever. I'll keep pushing it. I'm not too happy with myself because I had a long position on and I took it off at 71.19. It's planned setup, continuation long, and I'm pissed because I would have been on that trade. I would have been done for the day. But anyhow, let's map out today. Let's see what we have. Hopefully, we'll get some good opportunity. So obviously, going into the NYSE open, to the 9:30 open, we're going to be looking at an overnight inventory that is net long, right? So every majority of the overnight volume has been above yesterday's settlement, above yesterday's high, above yesterday's value area. So it's definitely 100% long. I think that's pretty easy read today. Guys, I want to point out quick thing for you. So just on the higher, before I jump into the more granular look, I've been since 6,400 on March 30th. I penned a piece for the opening print, and that was the target on this move here is 7,450, 7,500. That remains the upside target. I doubt we'll do a straight line. Obviously, markets don't move that way, although we're moving that way today. Right now, it's hard to expect a strong pullback, but we will. And probably what I'm expecting to see is either something here where we come back and retest the prior high, maybe go in a little bit deeper. Maybe we test this trend line, and from there maybe move up higher in a 5-wave pattern. So frame that out. That's the bigger picture, broadside picture. Look, let's get a little bit more granular here. All right. All right, so coming in thus far, our overnight high is 71.47.50, and we just discussed that. We just mentioned that the overnight inventory is 100% net long, right? So with that being said, what can we expect off the open? Well, with the overnight inventory being 100% long, and we're us opening, an immense gap higher, we would expect that the first move would be a correction of that overnight inventory, right? And because we're so, I hate to say to use the word, I really don't like it, extended. Um, it's going to make things a lot more difficult. Personally, I think that the way we need to approach this open is to let the first 15, 20 minutes, half an hour play out. We're likely to see maybe we get a move lower. Maybe we just chop around and test the highs. But we'll discuss that in a moment. But just from a tactical takeaway, right? Let things settle out here for the morning. The last thing you want to do is start a Friday, an OPEX Friday, and start off, having to make up points. All right. Yeah, this is insane. J. Mark posted in the Pitbull chat that this is insane. Yeah, I mean, totally insane. Look at it. I mean, we have a 14 period RSI that's up there at like 85, right? It's just wild. This is a wild move. All right, so let's just jump into the charts. We already know where we are on the daily. There's nothing above us. It's just, it's Artemis is going straight to the moon. Let's just look at it that way, right? All right, so let's take a look at this. So what do we get here off the open? So with our overnight inventory 100% long, right? The first thing we want to be on alert for is what? A correction of that overnight inventory, right? So one potential scenario for that, with our overnight high being 71.47.50, what we need to be on alert for is, obviously we're going to write down the daily open as we do every day, right? That's going to be our kind of our fulcrum to gauge the direction for the day. Obviously, on a gap up, we want to write down that open and use that as kind of a fulcrum to say, hey, okay, we're bullish above it, bearish below it. Think about a daily candle forming and how it would form relative to that opening price. Okay, so let's just discuss. What first scenario is, say we open, we're going to use 71.40, which is what we're trading right now. If we open 71.40, right, we're going to be looking for, and we get a move that there's still some residual buying, and that residual buying takes us up over the overnight high. We're going to have to gauge that really, really astutely. We're going to have to pay attention really closely there, because do we get a look above of the overnight high and fail and come right back into the overnight range, or does overnight high hold and we get a continuation, a resumption of the trend higher? The reason why I'm less apt to think that that's going to happen from the overnight high is simply because of the state of the overnight inventory. Let me just check it. Let me just read something here. Hang on. So we are gapping up almost 1% and on 245,000 contracts traded. All right. So that being one scenario, the most bullish scenario is we trade above the open, we get an opening drive look above the overnight high, price pulls back to the overnight high, consolidates, we show some acceptance, and then we get a continuation of that trend higher and a move into the moon, Alice. All right, so that's one scenario to consider. That's framed out here on the 15-minute chart. Let me blow that up a little bit. Oh crap! I did that. I moved my little drawing object. Get back there. There you go, you little. Okay. All right. Fuck. All right. So that's our continuation. Most bullish outlook for the morning would be, like we said, opening print. We trade a few contracts below it. It rips right back through the opening print. We go test the overnight high, and it skyrockets, pulls back to the overnight high. We get long, and we look for our scales as we normally do, as your system dictates. However, there's another scenario here that kind of more in line with with a inventory correction overnight. Okay, so let's map that out. So say instead of us all right, let me erase this one and let's go with, say we get a move here. We open at 71.40, 71.41. Okay, we get a move above the overnight high, prices fail. We spot a taper in the profile where volume tapers off at the edge, right? Where we go from several thousand or several hundred contracts traded to, low three digits, two digits, and then even a singular digit, right? That signals a failed auction, lack of follow through, lack of buyers gaining a following above that level. That's going to be our first sign. We're going to look for delta divergence there also to kind of co-sign that and put a stamp on it. And then if we get the move back down, so if we look above, we get the move right back down, and we get below the overnight high, which it fails to hold its support. And in that case, what it's probably going to look, it makes kind of sense that if we test the overnight high, we might get a little blip over it, but it doesn't hold, or maybe we get some consolidation where we weave it a little bit, and then price comes right back into the overnight range, right? So that's going to be our first tell that, hey, we're below the overnight high. That's our first sign that tells us, hey, let's start looking or start considering short ideas for a correction of that inventory, okay? So the next sign that we're going to need is, for that to materialize, what I'll be looking for is, once we get back below the overnight high, that fails to gain traction above it, now it's acting as resistance. Do we get through the opening print, right? So let's map that out. Let me get another different marker. Okay, so we're opening, so we open 70.40, price looks up, gets above the overnight high, fails to gain any traction, right? Maybe we do something like this, and then we get back down here, we test the open, and there's nobody home. Get a little bounce at the overnight, at the daily open, and then price gets below it. That can be a signal to get short. For a scalp, I don't think we can expect too much on the downside, and you have to be quick on the draw there, because I'm not going to let that hang out for very long. If it works, it needs to work right away. It's right or right out. Okay, so two potential entries are a retest of the overnight high that fails. You can an entry would be, hey, we failed to hold it. Whatever pivot is right below it, we can sell the break, target the daily open, or you can wait for that daily open to fail and price to get below it, and then look for maybe a move down to a partial gap fill. So maybe we get a move down to test that 71.20 level that initially acted as some resistance before the news dropped. And that could be our first target, and then maybe potentially even a full move down to yesterday's high for a complete gap fill. Okay. So look above and fail over the overnight high. Overnight high fails to hold support. We trade right back down through the open, and then we're looking for an inventory correction, a partial gap fill, and maybe even a move down to yesterday's high, which is way down at 70.89. And that trade has a lot of juice on it. We're trading 71.34, right? So that's like a 40 point eventual target. So that has some there's meat on those bones. All right, so I think that covers opening up in nosebleed territories, Artemis land, going straight to the moon. Framing out something bearish here. I mean, I don't think any real bear argument can be made unless we get below. Like say we open. Let's just cover it, right? Say we open and it's an open drive straight down to the downside, right? Boom. Strong inventory correction. All those buyers are getting liquidated. Their pockets are getting run. They're heading for the exits, right? Lights are on. Roaches are scattered. We get move straight down. We break this 7120 band, the 7120 level, get below it, come back up and test it, and then we get a move down to test yesterday's high down at 70.89. But a true bear argument, there's nothing really bearish here. This is just an inventory correction scalp that I'm discussing with you guys, because there's nothing really bearish about this until we get below the settlement, get into yesterday's RTH value area, which is way down at 70.78. We get below settlement and below the overnight low. And I'll tell you, we're going to know if that's going to happen right off the open, because we'll be down there in a lightning flash. The ES, when it sells and it's really selling, it's elevator down, no support holds, like 3, 4, 5 supports just fail successively, barely a blip, just enough to get somebody in there. You probably only see the bounce on a tick chart, much less a time chart. So we'll know that if we see it. We'll be on alert for it. One of the tools that I'm going to be dialed in on today is Spygate, right? So that's one of our tools that we have in the Pitbull Traders orbit, and I'll be sharing that with you guys on the stream as well. So Spygate is a tool that tracks institutional program buying within the SPY, okay? And there are alerts there that go off when those buy programs and sell programs are going off. So if we open up and we start to hear, say we open up in really high ticks, right? Positive 1,200, 1,300 ticks, and we start hearing that Spygate going off, crack, croak, 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 right? Like they're sell programs going off, sell programs going off. Good. That means there's a little profit taking, right? Okay, great. We expected that, right? So does that continue into 10:30 to 10:30 after that? Or does that subside? We saw that initial profit taking come out of the market, right? But then the selling kind of dries up. If we're going to get a strong move down, then I'm going to be able to hear those sell programs going off continuously. And for you guys tuning in on YouTube, I'll be sharing that on the screen. Here's an early look for what early sign of what that screen will look like, so you know what you're looking at. Hang on a second. No, I didn't want to do that. Dang it. No. You guys that are in the chat, you guys have the ability. Oh gosh. So here's what that's going to look like, right? This is yesterday's kind of yesterday's price action. So all of these arrows here indicate a buy or a sell program, right? And so this is the last hour. Typically, you're going to see a lot of squaring up of positions, so it turns into a little bit of noise. But we're going to be looking at that intently throughout the day to know, to kind of gain a small edge on what the larger institutions are buying, right? Remember, we're going to try to follow them and take their lead. We're always trying to follow the big money, right? I think that's pretty straightforward. All right, so remember, for the bearish argument, let's watch where the daily where we open. What's the opening print, right? Do we get an opening print, trade a little bit above it, get right back below it, opening drive lower? Then that's going to tell us, hey, you know what, inventory correction is on, and we can use that opening print kind of as our fulcrum to gauge the direction for the rest of the day, at least for the morning session. Let's take a quick look at the profile here. Hang on. Let me get the profile chart up. Opening bells right upon us. Let me clear this up. Okay. Oh, crap. This thing is long. Dang it. Shit. All right. So let's take a look at this. Dang it. I didn't know that I left that on. Fuck. All right. Don't mind my French, all right? And if you have kids that are watching this, they should be at school. All right, so here we go. Let's see if we can gain anything from this. Single prints at 71.20, which was that resistance. You guys that saw, I posted that plan in the pit. 71.20 was what I thought was going to be the high of the day. I didn't think we were going to be able to get there. We just blasted right through that. Right now we're coming back down to back test that. So watch that level. It's in the chat. Yeah, the more the right DB Hammer says in the chat, the more they say, the higher it goes. Yep, it's just pure panic buying. It seems like, and we know how this ends, right? But there's no way to call it, right? Just stay with it, keep going with it, right? I know I've been talking a lot about an inventory correction, which is already pairing off, right? We're already down, 22, 23 points from the high, so that the juice is kind of out of that one. Let's make sure that we stay aligned to trend. I think better off trying to look for long opportunities than we are looking for shorts. But we know what we want to see. If the short opportunities are going to play out, I think we have a good idea, good handle on what we want to see there. Okay. All right. So with that said, we're going to look at Spygate. We're going to tune into the daily open. We're going to make sure that we stay in alignment with the dominant forces. But this could be a tricky open, guys. Like I said, and here's the other thing: if you're green on the week, like if you've made, I don't know, if you're up a few hours, like I know a Magister was posting yesterday how he was up, 125 points for the week, right? That's great, fantastic. And then probably you want to go into some profit protect mode today, right? Hey, keep that grass green. Keep some of that green. Make sure you know what you want to risk on the day, and if you hit that, then step away. But if you're trading well and you feel like the ball's in your court and you're seeing the tape really well, then have at it. But just be mindful of that you have stand more to lose on a Friday OPEX than you have to gain on a day that's going to be a really tricky open here. All right, so let's just note the daily open here. Jeez, all these levels are blown out, man. Holy shit. Oh, excuse me. I have to, guys. I'm gonna just quick disclaimer. I hate to say it, but so I'm born and raised in New York City. We cuss a lot, so I'm gonna try to clean that up. I don't mean to offend anyone, but I'm also just gonna be myself. All right. All right, so our opening print 71.21. Let's take a look at really quickly, right? Let's take a look at vol. Let's take a look at the core sector list, and let's take a look at internals, right? Just want to note those right here on the open and see how they develop over the next hour. All right, so we're looking at 2.7 to 1 positive on the NYSE, no surprise there. 5 to 1 positive on the NASDAQ. Great, got it. Ticks are opening up 1,072. We knew that would happen, right? And vol and the VIX, vol is down to 1742, opening down 3%. It's testing. I think it's testing last week's low. Let's see. Oh shit. Oh, God damn it. Sorry about that. Yeah, I don't know. I think that foul language may offend some people. Look, if I offend you, that's not my intent. And if that's the case, then maybe this is not for you. But this is definitely not rated PG, guys. All right, it's not even PG-13. I'm not trying to clean it up. The only way I know how to be is myself. And what I'm not gonna do is really get colorful. I can really get colorful. All right, so opening print 71.21 quarter. Magister posted in the chat. If you're offended, fuck off. LOL. Oh, that's right. I'm not supposed to do that. Sorry. Will YouTube ban you if you're dropping bombs like that? I don't know. Hey, quick programming. Hey, let's take. Wait. Hang on. Let's just take a look at. All right, for you guys tuning in on YouTube, we're looking at Spygate right now. We're gonna make sure we're gonna stay on alert here for any croaks or any signs of for any clues, for any directional clues. All right, so we'll minimize that here. Let's take a look at here. All right, so here we go. All right, so I'm going to I have a 4 hour chart on the left. I'm going to zoom that in a little bit, get a little bit more granular. I think I need to go down to. I love the 2 hour chart. I'm going to go down to a 60 minute though. So I'm opening up. I had a few trades in the overnight session. Nothing good. I had one good. I think I made a grand on one, and then I lost 800 on another one. So it's like a wash, right? And the old so my intent always on OPEX is I want to be done before before the regular trading hours opens. So here's another thing. Here's another piece of advice. If you're up and you're green and you're doing good, say you're up, 2 or 3 R for the week, right? Guys, pivot, lower your position sizing, use micros. Get used to cashing that check. Take it home. All right, so just trying to get a read here quickly. A lot going on. Bear with me. This stupid program is not working. What the fuck? Yeah, this is crap. All right. All right. All right. Let's see. No croaks from Spygate yet. No door knocks. So all good there. Let's take a look at. All right. Yeah. So heads up. So obviously I'm running three different algorithms here, and I have them all off right now. I want to try to let them open, shake out. I don't want to let them get chopped up. This is going to be, maybe we have an opening. I mean, we are moving higher. We're back through the open, and we're moving. We're 10 points above the open now. So I'm having a hard time getting a read on. Trying to get a read here, guys. Bear with me. But this program is not working. It's not responding. I mean, obviously, I want to. Dang it. RTH. There you go. Come on. Come on, baby. Oh, again. Damn it. All right. NASDAQ. Everything is well bid here. Everything is well bid, guys. All right. So look, we opened, we stabbed higher. So remember that. Okay, so the 24-hour volume point of control is 7135. 7135. Let's see if we can get above that. Then we have there's a small little notch at 7138. But let's look for a test of that overnight high up at 7147. Again, we know what we're looking for there. Let's let this first 20, 30 minutes shake out. Let's try to put trades on that make sense. Let's stay in alignment with the dominant trend. Let's stay operate with the forces that are winning. Let's be winners out here. And if you're down, if you're red for the week, same advice, right? Dial it back. Today's not the day you want to start attacking the market. Oh, yeah. So good. Thanks, Text. So Text just posted the time chart configuration. Fuck, I forgot to post that. Dang it. All right, here we go. Today is S3L cycle day 2. You can post that in the chat. For you guys watching on YouTube, if you want to take a snapshot of that, go for it. Take a screen grab of that, and I'll post it in the chat. So here's another thing, guys. So we have a cycle day 2, S3L day, right? So S3 days can be choppy, range bound. So the last S3 day, it didn't matter. We were bullish AF, and we just rallied hard. Uh, and that, that was indicative of that impulsive move of 63.53. But typically on S3 cycle day 2, I would anticipate David has a term he uses called morning after trend day, where you get this big trend move and then the next day it's just digestion, two-way trade, no conviction either in either direction. But I don't know, this news environment has things really, really, really frothy right now, right? I think this is going to be a really emotional open. We're now 10 minutes into it. Let's check volume. I think volume is going to be important today. Also, we'll go over some potential pins for the day as they develop. Obviously, it's OPEX, so we have to be on alert for that. QQQ easy money post. QQQ is now up 13 days in a row. Is that true, man? Wow, that's great, man. That I always think about those trades. Like, sorry, I always think about those days. Like, God, like what, it's really good when you're on the right side of that, right? It's really awesome when you're on the right side of that. I had once, so in 2024, I had a swing on in, and I probably, last time he posed, last time 12, I think was in 2009. Yeah. Obviously very strong trend. So I had a swing on in ES in 2024 and it went for close to 450 points. And I remember I was posting about it in the IM Pro as it was going, but literally, the market, it was an easy trade, right? So I caught the entry stuck, and we rallied for the next 2 days with like near a pullback. So it wasn't a difficult hold per se, but the most important thing that I did there was like I trailed it, but not aggressively. But in hindsight, the thing that I did there, which was the best, was that I just stayed out of the way of it. Right, I wouldn't look at it all day. I think I was checking it twice a day. I tried to distract myself as best I can. I knew what was going on, and the point of that is to catch that extra alpha, to hit, to catch that like career trade, something that's going to go, like that. Think about it. We're at 63.53. We're up to 7,100. I mean, that's man, that's an insane move. And if you would you have are you a trader that would have been able to capture that move because your system allows it? And if your system allows it, would you have been able to stay out of the way of it? All right, so we have 100,000 contracts traded, 16 and a quarter point range. All right, so look, we went up, we tested that the 24-hour volume point of control and immediately faded. All right, so right here now, let's be on alert for a move that goes right back through the open, right? Back through the open. It's tough to say here because you get back through the open, you're going to be right at the 24-hour VWAP at 7118. But yeah, I mean, if we get below the open and that 20 and that 7118, I think and we get through there with some strength and some momentum, and I think we have to start thinking about a potential gap fill down to 7089. Gosh, it's hard to even wrap my head around that. It's hard for I'm a trend guy. It's hard for me to wrap my head around getting short for a gap fill. I'm just being honest with you guys. I'm having a hard time. Like I'll put the trade on if it sets up, but I'll probably get out way before that. Not even gonna lie. All right, so look, ticks coming straight off from the high. We've got to expect that. They're gonna pair off. Why isn't the, the, music playing? Not sure. Hey, people, you guys watching on YouTube, please do me a favor, smash that like button, show me some love. Trying my best out here. I'm new at this. Um, I'm a better trader than I'm a commentator, but I think that this could be fun if I develop the skill. Also, I when I was a struggling trader, I remember thinking, man, if I ever figure this out, I'm gonna, the first because I was so, it was so hard, right? Obviously, we all know how hard this can be. And I like, if I ever figure this out, I'm gonna give back. I'm going to help somebody out that is feeling like me. And so I think the time is right for that. All right, so Poppage coming right back up to test that 24-hour volume point control 7135. I'm gonna give this about another 10 minutes before I turn the algos on and see what I can get. I may miss something here, but again, I've done really good this week. I want to try to protect that. I'm not maybe I should even switch to MES on some of these. Right? Look for base hits. It's gonna be hard to hit it out of the park on a day like this. But we have a true gap, guys. And we have to consider gap rules, right? So what do gap rules say? Go with all gaps that don't fill early. And I think that's what we're seeing here. Came down, tested that. Here, I'll show you right here. You can see it. You can see it really well on this chart. All right, you hear the croaks? Can you guys hear those croaks? All right. So that means there are sell programs going off. Here, I'll show you on the Spygate. It's one of the things we were looking for. All right. So you see here we have the sell program, and it also tells us the size of the sell. Okay. So let's go down here and see 945 sell program, 119 million was sold. All right. So let's just watch how those develop over time, right? We don't want to read too much into one signal. That's why I tend to not, there goes another one. That's why I tend not to watch the chart. I tend to listen for it, right? If I hear a lot of, so if you hear frog croaks, those are sell programs. If you hear knocks on the door, those are buy programs. All right. So, hey, so go with all gaps that don't fill. So, we opened 6121. We only managed. There goes another sell. So we only managed to go 2 points below the open. Yeah. So let's see what happens at the overnight high. Let's see what happens at the overnight high. So one nuance, text AD asks for the time study. So one nuance of the clock, right, is so obviously we're expecting a low pivot today, sometime between 10:15 and 10:45. That's likely to be a higher low, obviously, right? Um, on these big gap days, these big emotional days, right? Look to trade later in the window than it earlier. Okay, if that makes sense to you. There are a lot of nuances to the clock. I'm going to share you guys. Look to on these large gap days, especially an S3 day that tends to be more rotational, more two-way trade. I want to, because I don't want to get trapped too early. I don't want to get early in the move and have to sit through a 6, 7, 8, 9 point drawdown waiting for the turn, right? So look to trade later in the window rather than early. Also, since we have a 5 pivot day, right? We're looking for 5 time pivots. The relationship to the so we're gonna go AM high, AM low, mid AM high, lunch low. So what we're gonna be looking for is the relationship of the lunch low relative to the AM low, right? If that's a higher low, whether it's a lower low, it's important. It matters. All right, we're going to come back down, test the open. Price was unable to gain any traction above that 24-hour volume point of control. Fuck, I should have sold them there. I've got to get better about this. I would have totally been short right there. All right, now down below VWAP again, below the open. You heard the cell programs going off, right, guys? We heard them. For you guys watching on YouTube, look, check it out. I was pointing them out. Let me know if you can do me a favor, drop a comment if you can hear them. Let me know if you can hear those croaks because they matter. You're gonna want to know when those buy and sell programs go off. All right, so look. So what does that tell you? We tested. You can't hear the croaks. All right. Well, they didn't go off yet, so hang tight. Text AD. Are you in? Are you in the pit chat? Look up on in your media tray. See if you have the Spygate tab. So we came down. Okay, click on that Spygate tab. Open it up. Again, for you guys, for the folks watching on YouTube, that's available to all our members in our chat. I'll drop a link in the comments. You can't hear them. Okay, hang on a second. Let me see if I can get that going for you guys. Here, hang tight. So look, we swept the over. We tested the open. Made the initial low was 71.19 quarter. We couldn't even manage to stay below it for much more than a point. All right. So now, can we gain traction and get above? Start working into this notch. There goes the croak again. Did you hear it? Text. Let me know. Did you guys hear it on YouTube? Let me see if I can get it on here. Hang on. Oh, I know how to do. Oh, hang on. I think I have a fix for it. Hang tight, guys. Hang tight. You folks listening on YouTube, hang tight. I'm working on something here. So look, we couldn't even look. We're above that 24-hour volume point of control. So here, check it out. Look, that's this right here. Let's see if we can get above the 24-hour value area high. All right, hang tight, guys. Hang tight, hang tight, hang tight. I'm gonna have to kill this. Bear with me. Shit. Am I long in any? Oh no, I left them all off. Dang it. All right, whatever. My choice. I wasn't gonna turn them on anyway. Studio mode. Hang on, guys. I'm trying to get those croaks on for the people on YouTube. Amen. Was that not working? Shit. Hang tight. What? All right, guys. I'm trying to get that Spygate working for the folks not in the pit. Coming through for you guys. Hang tight. All right, guys. Working on getting that in there for you guys. Hang tight. Bear with me here. Looking for some support here. All right. All right. Looking like we're going up to test that. So, hey, gap rules are in play here. Go with all gaps that don't fill. All right. That's set. I'm going to turn the algorithms on now. Let's see. Make sure that I have these account numbers right. So while we sort out and get the Spygate working for the institutional buy and sell programs so that you guys on YouTube can hear and see them, we're working on a way to get that up on your screen right now so that you guys can follow along with those in real time. I'm going to share a small screenshot of it as best I can. What I'll try to do is oscillate between. So here it's going to be right in the lower right-hand chart. All right. Right here. That should get the audio in there for you guys. Let me know. Drop a comment if you do. All right, right back to the highs. You know what? I can't mess with that. I need to focus on this here. This is bad. We just got to go straight to YouTube here. All right, let me just get back to it, guys. Sorry about that. All right, let's go back to the tape. I'm having a hard time sharing the audio, but we'll get that worked out for you guys. All right, let's take a look at the internals. Give you a read on the internals. 2.6 to 1 positive on the NYSE, 4.1 positive, 4 to 1 positive on the NASDAQ. So the ticks came down to 0, guys, and bounced right as price tested and failed below the opening print. I'm going to turn on the A7 here too. All right. So I'm going to run 1, 2, 3. I'm running 4 of them right now. See if I can get a pullback here. So the A4 will get long if conditions are right for 71.41. I'll just let those run live for you. All right. Right back up to the overnight high. Not sure why that's not playing. All right, guys. So look, we're going to look out for this 2 scenarios mapped out in the pre-market, right? So we're going to look for, do we get the look above and fail over the overnight high? All right, where price looks above, Peters comes back, tests the overnight high, and it fails to hold the support. And then do we bounce, get right back into range for any short opportunities? And if not, the preferred, right, is that we just continue to go Artemis straight to the moon, launch above the overnight high, and we go into blue sky territory and continue the space launch. We'll see. This stupid thing doesn't work either. Wait, you guys in the pit hear music? No. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's not working. All right, I'm waiting. So I gotta wait. I have to wait and see here. Let's see if we got to pull back to the overnight high. Um, I think that's viable. Dang, this thing is wrong. Fuck. So far it's not much coming in from the Spygate guys. So not much to see there. All right. All right. Our ticks are knocking on 500. So the internals have paired off quite a bit on the Nasdaq. Now let's watch for the head fake up here. But it just held that little low volume notch at 71.48. So expecting a little bit of extension here higher. Let's see what we get. See what we get. Man, I have all these. I have a few different accounts I'm trading. I'm getting confused as to which algorithm is trading which account. So hang tight. I want to make sure I get this right because so I have a couple of. accounts that are being paid out, and I don't want to use those until I get paid on them. Not much to see here. Just chopping above the overnight high for long opportunities above here. That overnight high held, that low volume notch at 71.48 held. Any pullbacks down to that overnight high, I think, are viable. Okay, let me. All right, so I've got this one. All right, so that has been adjusted. That has been adjusted. I think I'm just gonna. I'm just gonna plug in. One of the problems I have is that so I can't trade my personal account while I'm trading the algorithms. Come on. All right, that's not right. So many fucking accounts. Uh, Too many. This doesn't make sense. Okay. All right, FDA 4 on now. See which one triggers first. All right. All right. Did you hear? There was a croak there, so sounds like there's something going on here. Let's check it out. Yeah, just one little cell program there, and of course we get a pullback, right? So watch out. Be on stay on alert here. That pullback can't coincided exactly with that sell program. They sold that. They sold into the highs. 10 contracts traded on the ES highs. Let's all right. Let's watch what happens if we get a retest of the overnight high. The last thing I want to do is fall into the mindset of starting to, look at every high like it's the high. Just, stay long minded until we get below the levels we outlined in the pre-market. All right, so let's see if this one triggers. Yep, it did. 144. All right, so the algo got me long at 71.50, looking for 71.54, 71.57 on that one. This one didn't trigger and it should have. That's all right. I don't want to be in the same trade in two different accounts. So guys, you noticed how that little pullback coincided with that sell program. You can see that in the lower left on the lower right hand chart if you're watching online on YouTube. That's that little red arrow right there. Right. All right. Time is at 10:15. Let's get a read on the internals. 2.7 to 2.8 to 1 positive on the NYSE, 4 to 1 positive on the NASDAQ. So a little bit of an improvement there. The Russell's breaking out to new highs. The NASDAQ's a little under. It's lagging a little bit here, the NASDAQ, but the ticks have that. Let's take a look at the core sector list, but the ticks have like that look that they're not gaining much traction to the upside. All right, so let's take a look at the core sector list. See what's going on out there. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 sectors red, green for two sectors red. Utilities and energy are red. And our weighted AD, so measuring advanced decline from the open, is squarely positive, right? Even at the open, it paired off a bit, but yeah, it's nice and green. So yeah, this is confirmation. You know, we swept the open, looked below it, 2 points, rallied above, and now we're above the overnight high, and it held on a pullback. So just like what we mapped out in the pre-market is working out here. Let's see if we can hit that first target up here at 71.54. That's what I love about the algo is just no hands. Let them run. Sometimes they run amok. Sometimes they just like everything else, but they work more often than they don't. And so I would say only about 40% of my trading is point and click. You know what would be interesting to see is I bet you that there's going to be a ramp and put the call up here. Let's take a look at that. Yeah, you can see there's an uptick here. I mean, nothing serious though. Nothing serious. AD is in, it's in rally mode. When you see AD up there like plus 1,500 to 2,000, that's like trend day status. All right, now let's take a look at flows and see if there's anything developing on, intraday that can give us any idea for, resistance, like where can this taper off? What are the market makers doing? Oh, I won $2 million? No way. Very cool. All right. So here are our read on our flows for today. Jesus, 7,100 is stacked. We're trading 71.15. I don't think there's very much to see there. Let's take a look at the skew. What's price doing? All right. Oh, what happened? Looks like I got a break even on that. God dang it. All right, let me get that bad boy back on again. All right, so it looks like that cut me out at break even. You see that notch right there at watch this notch right here, right? Just at 71. That's like the overnight high. We want that to hold the support on any retest. Need that to hold the support on any retest. Let's see. Yep. Just make sure we have this in line. All right, so we have a croak there, guys. You heard it. Looks like there was a simultaneous buy and sell program, but it's definitely popping off right now. Let's take a look at it. Let's take a little deeper look. Wait, hang on a second. I have to hang on. I have to reply to this. Wow, that buy program overwhelmed the crap out of that sell. Those guys got hosed. Oh, 228. One. Yep, there you go. Okay. Okie dokie. All right, that's all set. All right, so quick look below the overnight low, and that could potentially be our AM low. Heads up. Looking for that AM low pivot we spoke about. Should be up here. Yeah, it's the true gap and go. You're right. So yeah, so a croak means a croak is a sell program, and a so it's like a frog croak. That's a sell program, and then a knock on the door is a buy. Knock on the door is a buy. Coming right back in again. See if we gain some traction to the upside. Still working on getting that audio fixed. If I seem a little distracted, guys, that's what I'm trying to do here. Trying to get that um that audio on for the people watch tuning in that are not in the pit. Okay. Move this notebook over here. I don't really have much to write right now. Dang, I can't reset it though right now because then I would lose everything. I would not. I would just. I don't know. Can you hear me? Okay. All right. Let me see. I have to kill the screen share then. All right. Let's see if that works. Oh, but it might need to be the screen though. So hang tight. Let me see if I do something like this. Right. Uh, right. Let me know if that works. Oh, but then I have to hang on. I'm gonna have to kill the screen share again. Oh crap. Another croak. I know. I have to kill the whole thing. No, now they kind of froze on my screen too. Let's try this again. Oh, wait. Nope, not that. Nope, sorry. Yep. Screen share. Entire screen. Wait. I should have had this sorted out before. I just didn't. I thought it would work. No, okay, I get that. Okay, include audio from screen and system. Check. Entire screen. Check. And I get that audio error message. Um, there it goes again. No, I can't get it to go. That's not it. Sorry, guys. Just bear with me. I'm trying to get that audio working here. Price just chopping around. It's holding that. It held the overnight high. So obviously, we're looking now for longs. That stab down. That that move down on the 5 minute that tested the 9 period moving average. That low is 71.46. It's looking more and more like the AM low, but the window's still open for another 15 minutes. So let me just get this screen share going right here. Share that. Share this. All right, let me try this. Is that it? Come on, baby. Hey, you guys in the pit, can you hear any music? No. Crap. Try again. Do you hear the croaks, Magister? The Spygate croaks and Knox? Oh shit. All right, hang on tight. All right. Well, guys, I'm just gonna have to work on that for you at another time. Apologies there. I just want to. So let me focus on the trading, guys. We're gonna sort that out for you guys. So just know, the folks tuning in on YouTube, hey, we're gonna get that program plugged in for you guys, so you guys can follow along there. Let's see. Yep. Looks like Laura's putting her chart. Oh, heads up! I just hit that first target, so plus 5 points on the algo trade long. Always nice to hear have that go, have those work out. I didn't get the A4 trigger, which sucks, but whatever. Um, I'm missing more trades, honestly. I should have been long that look below and fail of the overnight of the daily open. But I'm not dialed in though. That's a problem. That I'm not like focused like I'm normally so focused on the order flow, the delta divergence, like I'm dialed into the dome. And I think and I'm just like I'm running out of screen real estate. All right, so it looks like Laura shared a chart. Thanks for sharing that, Laura. Share tab. You guys hear that? Let me know if you hear that. All right, so here, guys. So I have a 10-point target on this one. No, is that a 10 point? It should be a 10 point. And I want to try to stay long into as best I can into that time pivot, right? So remember, we're S3L cycle day 2, right? And so our next high pivot isn't scheduled till 11:20. The window opens at 11:20, and the window runs till about into 12 o'clock. So I want to try to extend that a little bit. It being 10:30, the AM low is in. I'm going to. I hate moving my targets, right? I like to let those work out, but it's because I didn't take a point and figure trade, a point and click trade. I want to try to let that play. I want to try to get a little bit more alpha out of that one. And then after this one, I'm gonna have to I may have to disconnect and reconnect uh to so that I can trade to be honest with you guys, so I can trade a different prop. I'm done with these accounts. These accounts are pretty good right now. They're nice and frothy. I don't want to risk anything more on them. If that makes sense. Let me just see something here. All right, let me know. Are you any of you guys long in the pit? 35.73. 35.73. 71.46. Okay. Let us know what you're doing out there. All right. My pit window has frozen. I'm gonna kill that. All right, looking for a move up to 63.75, 67.50. We have price and time on our side here. Um, what we can discern here from Spygate, we wanted to make sure we had an eye on that. Is that so for every one sell program, there have been 3 buys, right? And let's just take a look at this on something here. And you can see that the net difference is actually skewed to the buy side. So it looks like 4.1 billion in buy programs, and we also have those cumulative values in here. Um, Blow that out so you guys can get a better look at it. Right, so yeah, right there. Oh, you know what? Laura has it up on her chart. Yep, check that out, guys. I won't need to share this anymore. I am going to switch back and forth though. Looking for a move up to final scale. Again, I'm trading them small today. Even though it's strong market move, right? I want to be aggressive on these days. I want to add contracts. It's Friday, and I'm trying to profit protect. This one trigger? No, why not? Dang it. All right. Fuck. Oh, I got that target. Hey, heads up. I got that target at 67. So bang, I got the 10, I got 13 points on that one. Sweet. Sweet, sweet, sweet. You know what's really good about that one is that that puts me over 10K in that account. So I'm really looking forward to getting paid on that little puppy. All right. So now I'm going so I have to do something here, guys. I have to disconnect and reconnect to a different um so just I'm gonna go dark here for a second. Bear with me. Yep. So with that trade, that one put that account right just a smidge over that 10K mark, which is nice. I really wanted to get it over 10K today. And honestly, I'm kicking myself because I didn't trade this. When you look back on this rally, I tell guys in the Iron Pro all the time, you have to take advantage of these times. These are the times when the market is really easy, one direction, and you can make your year. I've made my year on these days and these moves, and that's when I want to be more aggressive. And I wasn't, I wasn't really like I can't honestly say that I like I've caught all the rallies really well. I can't say that I caught this one well. It's just I mean I once on Sunday night into Monday, the writing was on the wall, right? But um I just I didn't trade it well. Like I didn't get a good position. Like I should have been nailing 30, 40 points moves a day, right? Like just put it on, take your scales and GTFO, and that's not what happened. So all these shorts, anyway. More importantly, all these shorts again, their pockets picked today. Hope no, I don't think there are any shorts left, but if there are, they're getting smoked. What account number is that? Hang on. Let's go with 149. Enable. So each and every day, guys, we're trying to come on here and have a feature a guest speaker. Our guest speaker for today, something popped up at the last minute, but each and every day I'm going to have a guest speaker for you guys coming in here. Yesterday we had Rev. He came through, gave us his insights on oil, which is always fun to have him around. Super knowledgeable, great trader. And I was supposed to have somebody come in and talk about OPEX today. That just didn't materialize. Something came up, and of the pros that I know that trade, a lot of them are don't get really too excited about OPEX, and and it's not hard to understand why. It's one of those things too. So if if you go back and you look at your results and you turn and like, hey, my results are telling me I'm a shitty trader on OPEX, then take the day off. You don't have to trade every day. What you want to do is double down on the days that you do. And listen, if you feel like you have to trade every day, then maybe trading is not your hustle. Maybe trading is your vice. Might want to think about that. Sorry if that's a little bit too direct. Pareto principle, right? Yeah. So Tom posts out Pareto principle for. I'm sure for those of you who don't know what the Pareto principle is, I'm a big fan of that. So Pareto principle dictates that. Uh, so let me see if I get this right. I haven't read or studied it in a while, but Pareto principle says basically, in essence, like, so 80% of your gains or your rewards, I would have to say, come from 20% of your effort. Am I getting that right, Tom? Help me out here, bud. I know it's 80-20 for sure. Yep, thank you. And that's God, that's thanks for mentioning that, Tom. That could not be more applicable to trading, right? That cannot be more applicable to trading. Because if you're grinding it out every day and you're scalping every day, you better have a high win rate. So when I designed my system, right? I designed my system in like, so I wanted to trade three contracts, right? So three contracts. So I have to take and I knew I was going to have a high win rate. So I'm taking three contracts. I'm trading. I'm risking 10 points on each, 30 points of risk across the three. All right. My first scale is 5. My second scale is 10. My third scale is 15. So if I can design my setups around being able to hit a 15-point target, I only need a 33% win rate to make the system profitable. I mean, obviously, then you want to tweak it, you want to improve the return on it, and so on. But start from there, and this way you have a guideline for it, so that you don't have to uh, be compelled to trade every day and to scalp every day, take low probability trades. Why is this chart not updating? What the fuck? Dude, this has been total bush league this morning for me. Like I can't get the audio to work. Let me see. Oh, yep. Hey, text AD. I got your DM, bud. Hang tight. All right. Hang tight. I got it. I'll set you up. Just let me get through the morning and then I'll set you up. Okay, bud? For sure. Let me see. Did you drop yep. Yep. Okay. Yep. Hang tight. Gotcha. All right, so now you can see. Let's see here. So now the A4 will get me long at about 71.66. If price pulls back there, the conditions meet, are satisfied, then I'll get long there. I just got to make sure I have the right account number assigned with that. This is like kind of the stuff that I was working on in the background. And I was talking to a buddy last night. He was like, you know what? Just be straightforward and tell him what you're doing. Don't hide it. And so I was like, well, I'm trading more than one account. It gets kind of messy. And he said, just the more honest you are, the better I think things will translate. I don't think anybody much cares anyhow. So hang tight. Okay, yeah, 148. All right. But you guys have seen, I've only traded two of them today, two of those accounts. Uh, so the earlier one, I had the early trade that netted like 1200 bucks. And then I had a loss of like 800 bucks in that one. So it's like at 300. And then the two other ones. So I'm at like 2K for the day. I need about I need about 10K a day. All right. Let me blow this one out for you guys because it's getting a little. Hey, do me a favor if you're watching on YouTube, please hit that like button. Please, it goes a long way. Hit that like button, subscribe, join us every day. We're going to be out every day, Monday through Friday, keeping you on the right side of the market, right side of the tape. You can follow along. You can trade your own account. You can just tune in. And we're also going to have a lineup of guest speakers. We're also going to start sharing out the institutional buy and sell programs. We're going to have add a component of entertainment to this too, in that we have some clever trading challenges that we're working on to deploy where everybody's going to be able to participate and really just have some fun with it. Don't no judgment, just something that everybody can have fun with. So look out for that. We're just getting underway. We just started, nailed on our time slot, nailed on our weekly schedule of speakers and so forth. So exciting things to come. Don't forget to check out our trader funding program too at pitbulltraders.com. If you're interested in the chat, sign up link is in the comments. Also, if you want to check out the I Am Pro room, where they're just, that's a little bit more of a serious group of traders in there, but some really, really clever guys that that never hold back and share about their process. So if you're interested in that, please check it out. So for some reason, this chart is not updating on the left. This is, again, I apologize, guys. It's total bush league today. I can't get the audio to work. I missed the look below and fail of the daily open. Yeah, you heard it croak? Oh, good. Thanks for letting me know. Text AD. We got to get this reconnected here. Big tournament this weekend. I got a big tournament this weekend. We got these. We have a new. All right, what the hell is this? What the hell is this? Okay. Yeah, we have coach a baseball team. I coach two baseball teams. I'm sorry, one baseball team, one fast pitch softball team, and 14s and 12 and 11s. Bunch of talented kids. Why is it just not updating? All right, there it is. Yeah, huge. I'm a big baseball fan. I've been playing baseball since, so my easy money. Don't be having no Danny Almontes, Manny. So it's quick backdrop about me. My dad immigrated to the U.S. in 1964, and he immigrated from the Dominican Republic. We just a ton of baseball in our family. I have more cousins that have played in the minor leagues and uncles than I can even mention. I had an uncle who died on a baseball field. But we've had just a slew of guys playing in the Caribbean League, family members playing in the minor leagues here. You can, if you Google the last name, you'll see it. And currently, I have my nephew, my brother's son, is playing D1 ball out of up north, out of Adelphi up north, and so he's playing really well. You know, as a matter of fact, my brother just sent me a text 2 days ago. He had back-to-back dingers. So he was on fire that game. He had back-to-back home runs and hit a double. Super excited for him because going into his junior year of high school, he had he had to have Tommy John surgery. And so it was in doubt whether he was gonna, he was tracking really well, and all of a sudden, like the recruiting, the scouts and the recruits stopped coming, and so it was kind of a bum. But fortunately for him, the kid's like a math whiz, right? Like baseball is secondary to him. The kid's super bright, like almost like Asperger's, like has a talent. Like not that he has that, but he's just a math whiz. He's like the kid that you get and you tell him, what's 63,157 times 517, and he'll look it up in his brain and give you the answer. So super bright kid, super happy for him. He's playing great ball. He didn't get a full ride, but he's playing really good ball. He almost got unseated on his spot. He plays second base. He's the only starting freshman at his school, and he almost got seated because they opened the portal, and the portal brought this kid in from Auburn, and they thought they were going to take his starting spot, but the kid just went back to the gym and put the time in and balling really well. My son's a baseball player, obviously. He's pretty good. He thinks he's better than what he is, but I'm okay with that. My daughter's also a pretty good softball player. She plays fast pitch softball, and she varsityed in her freshman year. She's the only freshman starting on that team of all varsity players. So we're pretty excited about that. Also, a lot of ball in our family. Lots of ball. So I had an uncle. All right, guys. So I think that heads up that that early. We're looking for that high pivot into 11 to 12 o'clock. I'm just wondering what we ran into. You hear the croaks? Hey, you guys on YouTube? I don't know if that. God, I'm gonna get that fixed. I promise you. Promise. But we'll have that on Monday stream for sure. Okay. All right. So I'll stop babbling about sports and stuff and get back to the tape. Maybe you guys need give you a good idea for a trade here. So a neat thing about the algos is that the automated trading is that you can put them on to go all, you can obviously you can set your risk, you can set your risk parameters, set your scale levels. You can also tell them whether you want to trade, only long, only short, or trade two-way, whatever it's a la carte. All right, so check it out. Hey, listen, this is important to note. Look at that. So I don't think we came down and we tested the 5 period moving average on the 5 minute. Let me show you that to you. As soon as I get this thing turned on. When this thing is when ES is trending strongly, right? You get these kind of looks, right? Where, look at all the distributions, right? Higher, look at this, right? We have all these distributions right here. Even going back down to here, you can count this one. Here. But you can see, look, we're just forming higher acceptance. This is a 24-hour profile. higher and higher acceptance. So price came down on a 5 minute, tested that 9 period moving average, and responded. So, this is just a strong tape. This is really, really a strong OPEX. We made the case for why we think AES is ultimately going to 74.50 in the opening print. And then Tom Lee came out and said that he thinks 7,300. However, so here's one thing I want to say. I know that I'm going out on a limb with this, but if the wave count is right, if my wave count is right, after that target hits, after this wave 5 completes, it should be serious. I hate to say it. It doesn't sound like every other bear on X, but if the wave count is right, then it's going to be a significant pullback. Not like the one we just saw last week, or not like the one we saw last April. Here, I'll show you guys the long-term chart. I don't know if you're interested in that, but I don't have anything else to talk about. All right, we're gonna have to zoom out for this. All right, so here's a weekly chart, right? This becomes the target up here, 74.50. So if the wave count started at the COVID low, 2174, right? What we could expect, theoretically, I don't know. I mean, I'm just a technician, right? Not an economist, but we all know that the economy is not looking good, and it's almost like poetic that inflation's going higher and all this stuff is going to hit the fan pretty soon this year, and we're going to hit this wave 5 high. But if we hit this wave 5 high, then you'd expect a pullback to halfway of the entire range. So halfway of that entire range would be, let's just obviously broadsiding it here. All right. Let's blow this out to 3. You'd expect a pullback down to 4,800 eventually. So I don't know. I don't know about that, but what I do know is that the target is 74.50 on this wave count move. I can walk you through it. So we had COVID low 2174, which rallied up to 48.32. Then we saw 50 for wave 1. Then we saw a 50% retracement of that move down to 35.02. 50% of that move. Then the impulse of wave 1 led to a wave 2 pullback to wave 3, which took us from 35.02 to 60, I think it's 61.50, around there. Last April, we pulled back, did another 50% retracement of the wave 3 impulse high. We put in wave 4, and now we're completing. We're moving up to wave 5 completion at 74.50, and that the smaller counts on there are outlined here. 1, 2, 3, 4. They all have symmetry. The ABC corrections all have symmetry, have Fibonacci symmetry. I've been tracking those since, for the last 5 years. That's why I knew I was long. That's why 2024 was so good. We were in an impulsive wave 3 high, wave 3 higher, and people were calling highs and kind of like fading it. And I just stay long. Just get long, stay long. However, on that pullback, when we went up to 48.32 and we pulled back 35.02, we chopped around for 6 months. 6 months chopping in that 35 to 4,000 range before it finally broke out. And there was a lot of doubt about that move at that time. All right, let's take a look at the internals. Oh yeah, so the Russell broke out, new highs. NASDAQ broke out to new highs. We have basically about 3-to-1 positive on the NYSE, 4-to-1 positive on the NASDAQ. Ticks are made a new high. The VIX went into yesterday's range and faded. So when it looked above it's prior days low, and now it's fading. It's taking out its last pivot low that was. Uh, I think we're going to see a VIX. I wouldn't be surprised to see the VIX go bid here at some point today, but it traded below that 1755 low. Now we're moving lower, which is all congruent with higher price action. That 9 period moving average held really well. Just keep buying dips until it doesn't work. We have time and price on our side. Oh, you heard that? That was a huge sell program. Jeez. For you guys watching on YouTube, I promise I'm going to get that fixed for you. So tune in on Monday. We have great tools here with just a pretty big. I heard like 5 croaks go off, and I've been monitoring. I've used this so long, right? It's really good edge, especially with the audio. I've used this so long that so my kids will know it, know the sounds of it. They walk through the house and hear the croaks and the knocks. Every bear's gotten stuffed. Bears are toast. All right, coming into 11 o'clock, guys. We're gonna start winding this down. So we had that decent trade. The algo executed trade that took us up to from 71.53 to 71.67. So that was about 14-point gain on the last and a 5-point gain on the first. The best trade of the day was that look below and fail of the daily open, and I missed that one. It's unfortunate too, and I bet you that was a support. Let me see. But all right, so what's the trade here now, right? Who cares about that? So what's the trade here? So the A10 would get long at 71.60 if conditions are right. And the A4 is looking for a long trade here. Let's see. Make sure that that's on the right side of things. Yeah, so one of the ways that I manage, I don't want the algo to take a short when I'm looking for a high on my time-based study. So I just flip those to auto longs only until I get that satisfied, that move. But we're getting really close to that window coming into the 11 o'clock time frame. I wanted to try to stay on to see if I can catch that high. What do you guys think? Do you guys think we fill the gap today? Do we gap and crap? I don't think so. Magister says ideally we see some sort of bearish divergence at these highs on the daily chart. Yeah, I'd be careful with that though, to be honest. I think you're gonna see bearish divergence all over the place. Let's take a look at it though. Let's take a look. All right. So here's the daily. Okay, this is the weekly chart. Let's hone into the daily chart, right? I know you like. I can already see that we're gonna have divergence here. This could have the strength and and the speed of this move, right? So, oh no, we don't. Yeah, we kind of do, right? We kind of do. I mean, I guess, if you're looking at this high on the RSI, depends on your oscillator too, right? But on the RSI, if you connect these 2 points, right, and then you go here, you kind of see that that's kind of a divergence. High here, MACD has divergence, obviously. I think you're going to see, divergences all the way up to that target. It's a wave. It's a wave 5, right? But Another option, another outcome, again, I don't want to get too much into this higher time frame stuff, but what we could see is a wave five that truncates, meaning it doesn't really complete its measured move. What happens is that it does something like this, right? Where it comes up, we get the impulsive move, falls short of the target, puts in an ABC down, and then gets back into range, right? And it's done. So you didn't, remember, tops form. So once we get up here, it's not like we're going to get up here and go straight back down. But if the initial impulse higher, the first high will probably be tested several times before it finally rolls over, kind of like what we did back in January. So our impulsive move higher, then the follow through, right, which failed, and then lower high, and then the failure. But we're gonna be here for that. We're gonna walk everybody through it day by day, see if we can call it out, see if we can nail it. We won't nail the top, but we'll get the general direction right. All right, let's see what we have here. Oh, thanks. Oh, thanks for letting me know that, Adrian. Appreciate it. Thanks, Devin. Sorry, guys. I didn't. I have the YouTube stuff over here, and I didn't see your comments. So yeah, thanks. Appreciate that. I'm glad you guys are hearing it. So look out for that on a daily basis, right? It's good edge, but there as with most things in trading, there are no linear events. Like there's no one size fits all to this shit. Like you have to use multiple tools, put multiple tools in your toolbox, and use them together to kind of formulate an opinion or a trade plan. And as conditions unwind during the day, you want to be able to analyze those conditions as they change. Spygate is a great tool for that. So I'll be pointing that out more and more. Again, so we have institutional buying and selling program that lets us know when the issues are active. We have the best indicator of all, which is price. Then we also time is a big one. Time is the one that tells us, that kind of sets our cadence for our trades. We don't we don't want to sit through a bunch of drawdown in a trade because we were early. Nobody likes that, or worse, get chopped up. But when you have a time component to your trades, and you have a window that says, hey, I know that between this time, the probability suggests that there'll be a high or a low. So maybe if I'm thinking about getting long or short, maybe I should wait for that time frame, and you'd be surprised what happens within those windows. That's the three-headed horseman: institutional buys and sells, price, and time. The three-headed horseman. I've got to get better at that. So thanks for stopping in, Brandon. Appreciate it. Look out for us. We're going to be on Monday also. Monday through Friday, 9 to 11, 9 to about 11:30. I'm hanging out because I want to try this. I want to see if we can get so like long trades don't make sense for me right now because we're so close to that high pivot window, right? Let's see what the high. So look, the high was made on. So this is this. Be cautious up here on longs, right? I mean, if you're gonna take longs, make sure that you have your scale, that you don't need new highs to get your target, and also be mindful then that you're trading within the range, right? And so one thing that I want you guys to be cautious of is this. Well, I'm going to be cautious of it as well, right? So Check this out. Let's get a little bit more granular, get down to the 5 minute chart. So look, let's be cautious of this, right? On any long trades, make sure if you're getting longs that you want to be mindful. So we made the initial move higher, right? Which was at 10:30. Yep, it printed at 10:45. Sorry, looked above one tick, and since 10:45 for the next half hour, it's been just chopping around at highs. Yeah, stick with it. It should go higher, but let's not be a buyer up here where we're so tight where it could easily just liquidate, come down, test the slower period moving average, and then find support there. We also know that we have a high window developing into this time frame, so I would look for that high to hold. There's a nice taper at that high in terms of order flow. There was a divergence in the delta. We have a taper. It's not a big one, but it's about a 2 point taper. Not saying that that's the high, but it's certainly, if I'm taking long trades, I want to make sure that I have a couple of scales, at least one scale out way before I approach that high. But it's that. Laura's mic is on. Yeah, I think that's for the croaking. Yep. You're welcome, guys. So I'm on auto long only on this one. This one I can tell it's we're gonna disable this. I want to disable this because I want to give this. I don't want to get short right here. I want to let it I want to let it play out long first. See what happens at these highs. Yeah, leave that. Hang tight. Hey Laura, can you check your mic? See if your mic is on. I wanted to get I wanted to be able to get the audio going in here so that we can kind of so for you guys tuning in on YouTube, another kind of another not kind of another tool that we have is we have access to Live Squawk, and Live Squawk is a breaking news type of system that announces news in an audio format, not in the text version, and they are lightning fast about it. Uh, the people in the Pitbull Traders chat and the IM Pro. I'm not sure if it's available in the Pitbull chat. No, it's not. So, but there's breaking news, and it feeds it to us right in our ears so that we know what's happening as it's happening. And I can go ahead and share those out with you. And heads up, we are going to have uh, one of the one of the guys in the Live Squad gonna actually start joining us and in a regular segment. So look out for that. Tons of good value we're adding here, guys. We're just starting to build this out, right? We really hit the time frame, set up the tech, got the tech stack right, and we're still working on ironing out some of those bugs, right? But we have, you know, most of you know Mr. Top Step, Danny Riley, who's few people that he's Live Squawk, Jeff Hirsch from Stock Traders Almanac. We have a lot of high value speakers coming through here that are going to come on, share their time, share their insights with us. So look out for that. Yeah, okay. So Stu asked, sometimes to hear you better, I want to silence the squawk. Do you know how to do that? Sure, Stu. So go up to the media tray, and in there you'll see what media it shares you're listening to. Look for Live Squawk and click on it. If you right click on it, you can lower the volume. Here, yeah, you can lower the volume or you can just shut it off altogether. All right, so guys, we broke that short pivot, right? So look out for that, notch at 71.56 to act as support. If there's going to be any type of serious liquidation break, that's going to be the first sign that we break below 71.56.50. Let me blow this out a little bit. Let's take a look at this chart too. All right, that's now that the Renkos are still like in fairly strong bull mode, but in a pullback mode. And so let me explain the current side. So look, we have this little low volume notch right here at 71.56, right? I don't think that it's going to stay like that for the whole day. If it does, it's bullish, really bullish, right? But if we come down and trade beneath it, then the idea is that we're going to find support right in here. And if that fails, then it's then we're going back down to to test the overnight high. But you can see on the second touch right now, we're kind of testing into that range, probing down there, and it's holding. So you have to stay a buyer of dips. I think if we get down there, I think that's a solid play because it will have this moving average right here, right in that zone. Let's blow this out a little bit to a 15-minute. So trick trade, a 21 period moving average on a 15-minute time frame on trend days is a great indicator, and that's way down here at 71.30. But I expect that to come up higher soon. So I don't know. So after this 11 a.m. high pivot, we're looking for a 12:30 low pivot, and then that 12:30 low pivot leads into a 2:30 high pivot. And from my experience with the clock, I want to be a buyer of that pivot, of that lunch low pivot, if it's higher than the AM low pivot, which obviously it will be today. Okay, so the 810 is working out nicely here. So the 810 has got me long, as I mentioned, 71.60, 75. You can see that. It just got its first scale. See that? Let me blow it out a little bit. So the A10 algo got me long 7160. Glad I flipped that account number, and it just took its first scale at 7165. So good stuff there. No hands, no hand trade. I love no hand trades. So here on this left hand chart, let me just share something with you. So this left hand chart is one of my secret tools. So this is a chart that that where I get my fib clusters from. Some of you guys have been trading with me, for a while that I use fib clusters, and it's not as good on a super trendy move, but these fib clusters work really really well. And what this algorithm does is it calculates, it takes every Fibonacci extension, expansion, and one-to-one alternate, and it maps them out over as many time frames as I feed it. So if I feed it 10 different time frames, 1 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute, 20 minute, whatever, right? It's going to build those out. It's going to take a confluence of the strongest areas of all those 10 time frames, and it's only going to plot the strongest areas. And the secret sauce is in that algorithm is super accurate. It's hard to, you can see it almost got the low here, but I'm being straightforward with you. There's been so many times that program has gotten the high and the low of the day. You have to treat it as like a 5-point band. Of the algorithm trade, of the fib algos too. So this is a next gen. Why am I stuck here? Hang on. So this is it's called a next gen T3 fib calculator. So the truth about this program is that I bought this program over a decade ago, and the guy was just starting out, and it's the only piece of software. It's the only trading software I've ever bought, and at that time I needed a system to trade with, and I think I paid around $3 or $4 grand for it. If you go to the site, I think he's asking like 19 grand for it, and people will pay for it. He gets I think for the, I think the cheapest version is 15 grand, and he has versions that go all the way up to 23 grand. So more value add. I'll be sharing that. Can't get this chart is not responding to me right now. All right, guys, another 4 minutes here. Remember, we're looking for that high. Let's watch this trade play out. So we just got the first scale at 7165. The next scale for 2 hours is 7170. Okay. Let's watch that play out. And then the T3, it's called a T3 fibs pro trader. T3 fibs. Not sure why this screen is not responding right now. This one is, but this one isn't. It's kind of frozen up here. All right, guys, we're gonna start winding it down here. It's been a great morning. As I mentioned, look out for more interesting stuff to come along. we're gonna be building this out with not only innovative tools like the Spygate. We're going to incorporate the MOC. Look out for that. We're going to have a slew of high quality guest speakers come on here, like we had Rev yesterday, and we're going to continue to schedule those out. We're going to be broadcasting daily, 9 to 11. And a ton of value. We're really going to bring value to everybody who tunes in. So look out for that. Yep. T3 fibs. Yep. Damn, I'm not sure why this chart froze up on me. Yep, look it up if you want. I'm sure you can find it. I don't. Something's not right here. Yep. Now this one stop responding. Hang tight. All right, guys. I'm gonna cut it off. It's 11:30. Thanks everybody for tuning in. If you're watching on YouTube, hey, really appreciate the support. Means a lot. I'm gonna try to bring value to everybody's trading. Hopefully, we can continue to knock it out of the park day in and day out, and make consistent and get everyone to trade consistently and have consistent profitability. Our whole focus here is to frame out trades that follow a good logic, a smart logic chain, so that we're operating with the dominant forces of the day, keep everybody on the right side so that we can develop consistently profitable trading. So with that said, I'm going to log off for now. I think there's some. I'm communicating now with a speaker that was supposed to come on earlier today, and I think he wants to come on this afternoon. I'm not sure if that materializes. I will put it out and I will share it with everyone in the room so that you guys can tune in. But stay long-minded, market strong, be a buyer of dips, trade well, focus on those time frames, and execute with discipline. Remember, don't predict, react. All right, guys. Enough preaching from me. Talk to you guys later.